Welcome to the Living Centred podcast, a podcast all about learning together how to live lives which are centred on Jesus. Everyone lives centred on something. Our goal is to learn together how every area of our lives, everything about who we are and how we live, can be increasingly oriented around Jesus and transformed by Jesus. He invites us to a rich and satisfying life, where the good news that he truly is enough changes everything about how we relate to God, ourselves, and the world. In each episode, a different person shares about what it's looking like for them to seek to centre their life on Jesus right now. As we hear their stories, we get to learn together and to encourage one another in what it means for Jesus to be at the centre of our lives. This is a journey we are all invited to, and a conversation we all get to be a part of. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, my name is Adrian, and it is so good to welcome you to this week's episode of the Living Centred podcast. It is my privilege to introduce today Katie, who will be sharing. Katie, it's very lovely to see you.
Thank you, Adrian. Lovely to see you too. It's my pleasure to be here.
Oh, good. Well, to ease you in, as I do with everyone every week, I wonder if you could start by telling us a little bit about who you are and what your life looks like at this point in time.
Okay, so at this point in time, my name is Katie. I live in Birmingham. I've actually been here, I was reflecting on this the other day, 24 years.
No way.
Yep, coming here for uni, which feels like a long time, nearly a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
So came here for uni and we stayed put. I stayed put. So my pleasure to be able to call Oasis home for that length of time.
It's amazing.
Came here as a student many years ago. Married my husband, John. We got two girls, aged 10 and 13, and one very busy, hectic puppy. Large, fluffy dog. He's the latest addition.
He is amazing.
Yeah, so that's us at the moment.
Wow, that's really cool. So within just the wonder and beauty of your life then, what does living centered on Jesus look like for you right now? Okay,
so life is pretty full. There's lots of things in it that are rewarding. There's also a fair few things in there that are challenging.
Yeah.
So for me, I would say kind of living centered on Jesus is about what brings me joy and enables me to focus at the moment with all the busyness of life, going for walks.
Yeah.
Getting out, being in nature is great for me, just to go to the park, or I quite like getting out of the city, actually going into the countryside and just getting some space away from the busyness of everything. And that is the time that I find I'm just most able to just relax a little bit and focus a little bit. I think it kind of eases my spiky edges at times as well. So yeah, when life is busy and full, going for a walk is the best thing for me. And that just brings with it me being able to focus a little bit on what's around me, nature, and kind of comes with it a level of thankfulness and focuses me in on Jesus a bit more.
That's really good. I love that, of just the knowing yourself, of just realizing actually within this moment, for me to be the best version of myself within the different responsibilities I have, I actually have to take myself out of this kind of environment and get to a place where there's more stillness. I can be more present.
Yeah.
And I loved how you said it at the beginning of just, to find joy.
Yeah.
Like for me to find joy, I need to be out. And at the moment, that looks like being in nature.
Yeah.
It's really good. I guess with that, like, is there anything else that helps you?
Yeah. So a big part of that, I suppose, is, when life is kind of busy and I've got lots going on, helping me kind of focus is having friends as well that will be really encouraging. I'm really grateful that I've got a good circle of friends who will kind of point me to Jesus at times when I'm needing that and correct me or keep me accountable to stuff. So that's a really important thing for me as well, to kind of be centered. I've got a group of friends who, one of my friends kind of wanted to set up a bit of a Bible study back in around COVID time. And so she approached a few of us and asked if we'd like to, from different churches, asked if we'd like to get together. So we have the very catchy name called the Rule of Six.
Wow.
Which you may remember.
From COVID.
We need to be a bit more inventive, But that really helps me, because we meet up maybe sometimes even once every half term, and we do a little bit of a Bible study, which has really helped me just with focusing and things, and just being honest about where life's at and stuff. So having friends to be accountable to, and the fact that we're from kind of different church backgrounds is really good as well, actually. So that's another thing, as well as going out for walks and just listening to some worship music.
Yeah.
Especially in the car, on my way to work.
Yeah.
Is the best time. On my own, singing loudly.
Amazing. I love that. What I love is just you in it, recognizing, right, what I need is both these times away.
Yeah.
These quick moments, as you said, in the car, worship on, by myself, singing loudly, but also, and I need other people.
Yeah, definitely.
And just that, what I love about it is like the rule of 6, of just this group that you then become part of and just do the long journey.
Yeah.
Of just saying, actually, all we're going to do is just regularly get together over a long period of time and encourage each other to, we're going to read the Bible, but we're then going to also say, well, what are we going to do with this? How are we sharing our lives with one another to encourage one another in, like how we're seeking to allow Jesus more in?
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's just heart.
Yeah.
Would you stand with me? It's just really good. And I think so often we can feel like, oh no, for relationship with God to grow, it's just me and Jesus. Whereas actually, I think it's meant to, there's those moments, but it's also the moments of us and Jesus.
Yeah.
We're meant to do this in community.
Yeah.
It's really good. I guess then, like, what are you discovering then at this point in time about who God is as Father, Son, and Spirit?
Yeah, so I think I'm always kind of discovering new things, and sometimes feeling a bit kind of stagnant as well and discovering nothing and feeling like there needs to be a big moment or something, some kind of moment to discover. But I go through these phases really, and I think at the moment the thing that sticks with me is just God's gentleness and his kind of loving kindness to us. There are lots of challenges for a lot of us during life, and there's been various things that have gone on at work, at home, that have been challenging, but God's gentleness and Jesus's slowness and patience, therefore, with me to figure stuff out has been really helpful. I think living a busy, fast-paced life with different responsibilities, I can be so eager to get to the next thing, the next big moment to learn, but for me, it's been like a slowing down and understanding his gentleness in it. Yeah, and when certain things in life floor you and you think, what is going on, God? What is happening here? Patience is tricky.
Yeah.
Like, I want it now. I want the answer. Yeah. Those are the things I'm learning at the moment. And I think reflecting on that phrase, I don't know, someone's written a book on it, I think, but that whole thing about the world needing a non-anxious presence.
Yes. Yeah.
And how there is so much anxiety. And there's so much, I didn't say earlier, but I work as a GP. So I've seen loads of stuff, loads of mental health issues at work, but in friendships and life generally, that whole concept that anxiety itself is contagious, and it's in our schools, in our workplaces, in our churches, world leadership, there's so much anxiety there, that having that non-anxious presence and what that means and looks like, I don't have the answers. I'm not pretending to have the answers, but something about Jesus's gentleness and his loving kindness, he's the source of us being able to trust with all our anxieties.
Yeah, that's really good.
I haven't got it figured out, but that's my thought processes at the moment, really.
What I love about that is what you're discovering about something of God at this point in time, which, as you said, it's not like, okay, here's the next big thing. It's like, God, there's this thing that actually I kind of knew before, but it's like even bigger. And there's more to it than I realized. Yeah. Is that what strikes me is that's both in terms of you seeing God's gentleness, his loving kindness, which has allowed you to know him meeting you in slowness and in his patience, which then shapes who you are as an individual. But what strikes me is that it hasn't ended there. It's then you then see, I wonder if this is part of the answer to the world around me. Yeah. And you pushing on that whole thing of the world around us, where anxiety is just very prevalent. And I loved how you said it's contagious. Yeah. That anxiety breeds anxiety, and that ability to be the non-anxious presence can feel really complicated of, I've got to force myself to be something. Yeah. Whereas actually it's, if you said it, it's like, oh no, maybe it's me reflecting more of your gentleness, God, your patience in this situation, of being just slowing things down and allowing loving kindness to be seen and experienced. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I think it's really beautiful. And so I think, we are all on journeys of this, but it feels like you're discovering something that I wonder whether if we could get hold of would both be a tonic to us, but also to many others at the moment. Yeah, it's really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, which brings us nicely to the final question.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah, how are you changing? Like if we were to have met you 3, 6, 12 months ago, how would Katie then look different to Katie now?
It's a really hard question to answer, Adrian. I think, man, we talked a bit about this earlier, that it's easier for other people looking in, isn't it, to say if and how you've changed.
Yeah.
So John, my husband, could probably comment on that more easily than me. But I suppose it is just trying to internalize some of this stuff that I've been reflecting on about Jesus's gentleness and actually accepting it and living with it, knowing that he's patient with me and knowing that he's compassionate. And so in the moments where I'm feeling really stressed or anxious, or one of the kids comes to me with like a big thing that's blown up at school or something like that, it's stepping back a little bit rather than rushing to know the answers. So perhaps I'm more okay with not knowing what to say and sitting with things for a little bit longer. I don't know. Other people may think differently as I try to answer all the questions, but I feel like I'm a bit better at slowing down a little bit now than I used to be. And I can only do that because I'm more okay with not knowing.
Wow. I love that. So I'm making if you've done this podcast with me, you know that I have to write everything down, otherwise I forgot it. And sometimes I start writing, I'm like, this is so good. And this is one of those moments where you're like, I'm not sure if I'm changing. And then like, wow, you've already said like some really big things of how life is continuing to develop shape differently. And so I love that thing of when people are looking for answers, I'm learning that just to step back and not rush to answer. Yeah, that's big. Isn't that like a non-anxious presence?
Yeah, it sounds better when you say it back.
Is that like, that's huge, particularly in like your role in your job where people are always looking for answers. So you have to be the person with the answers.
Yeah.
To then know environments, and I don't need to rush here.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
And then also just then in the wider area of life of just knowing sometimes I don't have the answers.
Yeah.
I'm increasingly, and you said I'm increasingly okay with not having the answers, which I think is like a really profound place to be able to live sometimes in the mystery.
Yeah.
It's hard because it is that we've got to be confident then of saying, actually, what I do know is enough. And I'm going to stay with that and not rush to the answers of the unknown.
Yeah, I think so. And a huge part of that is having to trust, isn't it? Trust in something. You know, it's amazing that we have Jesus who we can put all those unanswered questions to and trust him. And I don't always do that as early as I perhaps should, but whenever I do, I know his peace. Yeah. And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it totally is. But aren't we all works of progress? I think, yep. Am I doing all of these things all the time? No.
Definitely not.
Am I doing them more than I used to? Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Am I hoping that I'm going to do them more in the future? Yes. But I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And what you're doing in me, God, at this moment.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really good, Katie. It's really good. Yeah. As always, that last question, everyone says, I'm not sure. And there's so much God's doing. It's just really exciting. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing.
You're very welcome.
As always, I am left just filled with joy.
Oh,
heart full of just how can you not with these sort of conversations? I think in the beauty and wonder of all that you've shared, I think there's a couple of things I just want to reflect on in the coming week. One is I've just also, I share that need of just needing to get out of the city. And so just we'll find a moment to get out of the city, to just get the perspective and just be really present. I think the other thing is just that invitation to be non-anxious presence for other people, to not be quick to rush to answer, but just to stand with people, to be slow, to be patient, to be gentle, to be loving. So that's the things. How about you, my listening friends? What are you going to be considering out of the wonder and beauty of all that Katie has shared with us? Lastly, I want to thank you for listening, and I pray we would each know more of the wonder of living centered on Jesus this coming week. Amen.
Thanks for joining us on this week's episode of the Living Centred podcast. New episodes are released every Monday, and if you enjoyed this episode, please do like and subscribe on your chosen podcast provider to receive them direct each week. Living Centred is produced by the team at Oasis Church in Birmingham, UK, and you can find out more and get in touch with the team via theoasischurch.com.